Hello. Thank you for your time today. I would like to start by sharing a story with you about a young woman named Sunny. Sunny has always loved to help people, which is why she became a massage therapist about 4 years ago. The work is gratifying and the money is decent. But Sunny has been experiencing some bouts of pain that are increasing in frequency, duration, and severity. It started about a year ago, and she has even called out of work several times because of it. Sunny does not get a lot of requests for deep tissue massage, or nor does she have many clients that want a lot of pressure. So she's not sure why she continues to be in pain. She decides to cut back on her hours, hoping that will help. It does not. And about a year later, she decides to quit and goes back to working in retail. This is a story that I have heard countless times, or something very similar. In fact, an AI overview suggests that the average length of time for a career in massage therapy is between 5 to 8 years, with some estimations saying that upwards of 50% of people leave the profession within 5 years. I find that to be alarming. Let's take a look at some of the common injuries encountered by massage therapists, why these injuries occur, some tips and common practices to help mitigate risk, some trends as to why these things might be happening in the first place, as well as how they might be addressed. One survey published by the National Institute of Health suggests that 85% of Canadian massage therapists experience some sort of work-related pain or injury in one or more areas. Over half of these reports are due to gradual onset of musculoskeletal dysfunction as opposed to sudden onset. And at least 1/3 of participants have left the profession or have considered leaving the profession. A article published by the Massage Therapy Journal says that some of the specific conditions often encountered by massage therapists include carpal tunnel syndrome, as well as other nerve impingement disorders, tendonitis of the hand and wrist, tenosynovitis, which is inflammation of the sheath surrounding the tendons, bursitis of the shoulder and elbow, and soft tissue injury to the rotator cuff muscles of the shoulder. Reasons why these injuries occur um, are due to a combination of factors, including repetition, duration, posture, and force, just to name a few. Another article published in 2014, also in the Massage Therapy Journal, uses these last two factors, force and posture, and an excellent example um, that I'm going to try to explain to you. Okay, so maximum voluntary contraction is the top capacity at which force can be created by an individual in any given position. This is used to calculate the amount of force needed to accomplish a certain result. All right, so let's say I can make or generate 40 pounds of force using good posture, but only 28 pounds of force using bad posture. Now, let's say I have a client that has a soft tissue condition that requires the use of 10 pounds of force. If I use good posture, I will require the use of 25% of that MVC, the maximum voluntary contraction. Bad posture is going to require 36%. With this amount of force, the difference between using good and bad posture is relatively low as far as risk of fatigue or injury. However, let's say that the condition requires I use 25 pounds of force. With good posture, I would need to use 62% of my maximum voluntary contraction. With bad posture, I would have to use 89% of that maximum voluntary contraction. So that risk for fatigue or injury is much higher. So I hope that you can see where this is going. Good posture is important, but that's not the only thing. Some other important factors that are commonly taught in massage schools, they can be found in textbooks, and some of them have even been mentioned in the aforementioned articles. They include things like table height, which I would say is probably one of the most important things because it tends to impact other factors like the ability to stack our joints or maintain joint alignment, which will help to absorb excess force, as well as keeping our body masses in alignment um, and working in front of our center of gravity. It's also recommended that practitioners use their body weight to lean into the strokes. And then stance is also very important. Typically, two stances are taught, an asymmetrical archer stance and a symmetrical horse stance. Typically, the toes and the hips will be facing in the same direction as the massage strokes. Now, I think this sounds fairly self-explanatory. However, the issue lies in the fact that there's no standardization for teaching body mechanics in schools. Aside from being mentioned in textbooks, there is no curriculum for it. And because of this, there can be some differing opinions and sometimes opposing ideas surrounding body mechanics. Furthermore, for adult learners, the why is just as important as the how. And I have found that this evidence-informed information is often missing from textbooks as well as from classroom environments. I believe it is due to this combination of factors that can often make it difficult to teach body mechanics and hard for some students to learn body mechanics. Some of the common habits I have observed from students, new therapists, and therapists that have been practicing for a number of years include things like hunching over the table, standing too far away from the table, or conversely, leaning too much on the table, not properly lifting the limbs, awkward body positions or postures, and also working in a fixed position or stance. Now, I want to draw special attention to this last point, the working in a fixed stance. So there's a common practice taught to massage students to work with the front knee in a flexed position. And this is something that I have always taken issue with. And it's actually something that body mechanics educator Mary Ann Foster also takes issue with and refers to as the bent knee problem. She attributes working in this fixed position to the bent knee problem. Mary Ann Foster has a continuing education webinar available on the American Massage and Bodywork Professionals website, in which she explains how working with the front knee in a flexed position changes the way that the line of force travels through our body, in addition to taking away the natural fluidity that comes with something like walking or dancing, which she believes is key to healthy body mechanics. Another important point that Mary Ann teaches in her body mechanics classes is to practice continuous mindful awareness with ourselves and to take the time to check in with our bodies and to self-correct when appropriate. Body mechanics are not something that we learn once and we never have to think about again. It's something that takes continuous practice. Um, when I think about the statistics from earlier, I find it, I don't know, maybe a little ironic. Considering the popularity of massage as an alternative form of healthcare, as well as a growing career, I believe there is a need for the standardization of how body mechanics are taught in schools. as someone who has outlived the statistical average as a massage educator and as a self-proclaimed aficionado of body mechanics, I want to see more students develop habits early on that will allow them to have lasting careers. I also believe that the resources are available to create evidence-informed curriculum around body mechanics. I believe that if more research and studies are needed, we also have the resources to conduct them through kinesiology and exercise science, and with the help of educators like Marianne Foster, who has a background in body mechanics. I believe that if educators and schools push accreditors to mandate body mechanics as a standalone part of coursework, we can see a decrease in the overwhelming number of people who are injured in the massage profession and leaving because of it. Thank you.